Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing awesome. So today we are diving into the most practical topic in object-oriented programming and software design, the factory pattern, and or might be if we'll cover the factory pattern in this video, so we'll cover the abstract factory pattern as well in this video. Okay. So if you ever wondered like how to write your or build scalable, maintainable and flexible code, so these patterns are absolute must knows. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen and we'll start with the video. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so yeah, today we'll talk about the factory pattern. Okay, so what is factory pattern? Okay, so the very first, it is your creational design pattern. What it does, so this is basically used to encapsulate the creation of your objects. Like what we do, like we directly instantiate directly inside your constructor, or what we do, we simply write the instantiation of any particular like class or object. What we do, we basically use the new keyword and instantiate directly inside your business logic. So, but what we want, suppose if we have multiple files, we have 100 dependencies, 100 files. So we'll not keep that particular instance creation logic inside our business file or business logic. We just want to keep that particular logic for instantiating or creation of objects in a different file. We can call it as factory. We'll just call to the factory. We want particular class instantiation that will provide us that particular object. And this is the way, like for the centralized or the single place, we can maintain all the instantiation of particular services, and keeps your code flexible and loosely coupled. Makes sense. Okay, so the next is why would you want that, like why we need. So here, building an e-commerce site. Okay, so suppose we are building an e-commerce site where we have to process the payments and we are using the multiple payments provider. That could be your Razorpay, Stripe, and your PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, any of this. Okay, so okay, let me walk you through with one of the example I have here. Okay, I believe the code is readable. I don't think so I need to zoom in a bit, but I believe this is readable. Okay, so this is the basic example. I'll walk you through with this example, and that's all we need to understand the factory pattern. Okay, so suppose we have an e-commerce application where we want to process the payments. Okay, so I have one interface called your payment provider, which has one method called your void process payment, and which is taking one parameter like your double, which is amount. So this is only one method we have inside interface payment provider. Now there would be concrete implementations for like whatever payment methods you have, like your PayPal, your Stripe, your Razorpay, and could be more like your Apple Pay, Google Pay, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so for each we need the concrete implementation. So what we are doing, we are implementing the payment provider, we are overriding the process payment method. As of now, we are just simply printing here. Oh, one more thing here. This is in Java. So it's I write code in both C Sharp and Java. So it's not a big deal like whether we are writing in the Java or your C Sharp. It's moreover about the concept and the analogy we are trying to understand here. Okay. So our main core focus will be on our factory pattern, not in Java or C Sharp. Okay. So I believe if you can write code in Java, or then absolutely you can write that same code in C Sharp as well. Just a minor syntax change there would be. Okay. So where were I? So I was at your, yeah. So here we are just printing like processing this amount of payment via PayPal. Same for your Stripe provider, and same goes for your Razorpay provider. Okay. So these all are your concrete implementations. Okay. So now, as I mentioned, we need one factory. So this is our factory, like payment provider factory. Now these all things I cannot keep inside what? Your business logic. Okay. we have to although keep these all things separate, and especially this thing. So okay, let me walk you through with this. This is your payment provider factory. Inside that we have one static method which will return your payment provider. What is your payment provider? Which is an interface. Okay, so we define one method get payment provider, and we are parsing the time. It will take an input like what type of payment you want to process, and the type we provide to this method, and it will return the particular implementation like the instantiation of that particular service or the payment provider. So as per the name we can understand that get payment provider. So switch, we use the switch case like type dot to lowercase. So we are just trying to save some time, like if someone accidentally write some of the like some letters in the uppercase or lowercase or mix. So for the safer side we are just trying to convert all the letters into the lowercase, and then we use the case. If that is a PayPal, we have to return, we have to instantiate the PayPal provider. If that is your Stripe, we have to return the Stripe provider. If Razorpay, then this. If blah blah, then blah blah. But if none of these, if we couldn't match, if we couldn't match the type with any of the case, then for the default we are throwing the illegal argument exception like unknown payment provider type. Cool. So this is your factory. Now, how can we consume that into our client side, or what I can say inside your business logic? So suppose we have this checkout service. Okay. So let me walk you through with this main class. Suppose this is my client. So here I instantiate my checkout service because I have to call that. Suppose we have injected this checkout service. Now I have to check out. So there is one checkout method. So what it is doing, it is taking two parameters. One is your provider type, payment provider, like what type of payment you want to use, like your PayPal, Stripe, or whatever input they would give. Okay, they would provide any of the input, and we'll proceed further based on that input. And the second parameter is your amount. So here, payment provider, we are just calling our factory method. We are just calling our factory, hey factory, give me that particular provider type, and I will process those payments. Okay, so we are getting the provider type from the user input. So here your user is defined. Suppose we are using like provider type your PayPal, some other service or some other user why they want to go with the Stripe, they want to go with the Razorpay or whatever, or Google Pay. So on that way, our payment provider factory dot get payment provider. This method will be called. Why we are using dot here? Because it's a static method. We don't need to instantiate our this to call this method. So directly we are just providing our provider type, and whatever provide it is giving us except this, we are taking that and we are calling our process payment method. Are you getting this flow? Let me quickly run this. Uh, so what I can do, I can use Java C. This is my checkout service dot Java. Okay. So let me write Java checkout service. So as you can see here, processing this payment via PayPal, Stripe, and Razorpay. If you would provide any of any other which is not inside our this factory, then you will get this exception. Then you have to handle that flow as well. Okay. So this was for this, and so this was for your factory pattern, a basic example. Okay. So payment provider example we have seen here. The next is database connection. Suppose inside your application you are utilizing multiple databases. Suppose your MySQL, your PostgreSQL, your MongoDB, and for all those you have to maintain the connection. So how would you do that? You cannot do wherever you want. You can just like instantiate or define your connection strings and blah 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 blah. You have to use the factory pattern. You will provide, like you will tell your factory, I need particular connection. I need the connection for Postgres. I need the connection for MongoDB. And that there would be particular instantiation, and inside that concrete implementation there would be particular logic to connect. Okay, so what you will do, I'm just giving you the heads up, you have to implement at your own this database connection. I'm not showing you here, but if you're stuck anywhere, then just drop a comment, we'll fix this together. Okay, so I'm just giving you the heads up how you can do that. Just take an example or of our this, so let me close this terminal. Just take an example of your payment provider. The in that case this would be your database connection. Here you would have one method void connect, and same way your MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB in your database connection factory, and then get connection. You will provide one parameter type for which database you want the connection. You will implement the switch case, and inside that particular concrete implementations, you will define the logic to connect to your database. Okay, so these all things, and then you can create one client and you can do the rest of the stuff. Just try to implement at your own. If you're stuck somewhere or if you need to like understand any specific thing inside that, just drop a comment with your piece of code, or like you want me to explain that as well, just drop a comment. I'll explain you the entire structure of that as well. Okay, so this is the examples, and next we have, yeah, so now you might be wondering like, isn't this the dependency injection? Because inside dependency injection, we also like we create the interface, and there are multiple like concrete implementations of that, and we just inject those and use those. See, factory pattern is you are asking to the factory like just create this object and give me the instance of this particular concrete implementation or the service. But inside your DI, an external source, that could be your like container, which we usually call IOC container, that gives you the code implementation or the dependencies it needs. Suppose you are injecting your particular service into the DI IOC container, that provide you the implementation on the runtime for this. Factory pattern is also runtime you are providing and you are getting, but that is from the factory. I would say the difference is a very thin difference. Like how and who, your factory pattern is how it creates the object, and inside your DI, who is giving you that particular dependency on a runtime, like your IOC container. And here factory pattern is just on the runtime, it is you are giving the type, it is giving you that particular instantiation. But your like DI usually happen on the startup of the application. Okay, just keep our video till here for the factory pattern, and in the next video, or we could say the part 2, we'll understand the abstract factory pattern. Okay, so see you in the next video.